I never imagined the feared Alpha King would appear at my door with a wounded pup, much less that his gentle touch would awaken something within me that our world said couldn't exist. What happens when an Omega girl who can't fully shift becomes the only one brave enough to stand beside the most powerful Alpha in the territories? And will our forbidden bond survive when everyone is determined to tear us apart? I hear them before I see them. The whispers follow me everywhere I go in this small village. There she is, they say. The odd one, the one who doesn't fit. I keep my head down and walk faster, holding my basket of herbs close to my chest. The smell of fresh mint and lavender fills my nose, a small comfort as I try to ignore the stares. My cottage sits at the very edge of our lands, as far from the main pack houses as possible. Just how I like it. Just how they like it too. The walls are made of stones I gathered myself, and the roof is covered with dried grass that I must fix every season. It's small, but it's mine. No one bothers me here. Inside, I hang my herbs from the wooden beams to dry. The golden afternoon light streams through my one window, making dust dance in the air. My home smells of dried flowers and wood smoke. A pot of soup bubbles over the fire, enough for just one person. Always just for one. I'm not like the others. They can all change into full wolves when they want to. Big, strong, perfect wolves with sharp teeth and fast legs. But not me. When I try, my body only changes a little bit. My nails grow into almost claws. My teeth get a bit sharper. My eyes see better in the dark. But that's all. I'm stuck in the middle, not fully human, not fully wolf. An Omega, they call me. The lowest rank, the outsider. The pack leader told my parents long ago that I would never be a true member of the pack. She's too weak, he said, not caring that I could hear him. She'll never hunt or fight or mate. She's useless to us. My parents didn't fight for me. They just nodded and moved my bed to the back room, away from my brothers and sisters who could all change properly. Now I live alone. My parents are gone. My brothers and sisters have their own families. They don't visit. No one does, except when they need my healing herbs or salves for their wounds. I'm good with plants and healing potions. But they still look down at me when they come, never meeting my eyes, leaving as fast as they can, as if being different might spread to them like a cold. I stir my soup and try not to think about tonight, the lunar gathering. The one night when all the packs from all the lands come together under the full moon. Everyone goes, even me, though I don't know why I bother. I always end up sitting alone, watching others dance and laugh and find mates. No one ever asks me to dance. No one ever sits beside me or offers me food or drink. I'm just the shadow in the corner, the one they pretend not to see. But still I go. Every year. Maybe it's hope that pulls me there. Or maybe it's just that, for one night, I can pretend I'm part of something bigger than just me, and my little cottage and my herbs. As the sun sets, I change into my best dress. It's nothing special, just blue cloth that I dyed with berries from the forest. It's faded now from too many washings. I brush my long hair until it shines and pinch my cheeks to give them color. In my small mirror, I try to smile, practicing so it will look real later when I have to pretend I'm having a good time. The walk to the meeting place takes almost an hour. I can hear the drums and laughter long before I see the fires. My heart beats faster with each step, a mix of hope and fear that makes my hands sweat. Maybe tonight will be different, I tell myself. Maybe tonight someone will see me, really see me. The clearing where we gather is huge, with giant old trees all around, like they're standing guard. 5 big bonfires burn in a circle, lighting up the night. Wooden tables are loaded with food, roasted meats, bread, berries, and jugs of sweet mead. Already, the clearing is full of people from all 5 packs. Some are in their human forms, dressed in their finest clothes. Others run around the edges in their wolf forms, their fur shining in the firelight. I slip in quietly, keeping to the shadows. No one notices me come in. No one ever does. I find a spot near one of the smaller fires, far from the main crowd. From here, I can watch everything without being in the way. The pack leaders sit at the head table, big men with loud laughs and proud faces. Their mates sit beside them, beautiful and strong. Below them, the beta wolves, the second in command, drink and tell stories of hunts and battles. Everyone has their place. Everyone except me. As the moon rises higher, the dancing starts. Bodies move around the fires, spinning and jumping in time with the drums. Men choose women to dance with, their eyes full of hunger that has nothing to do with food. These dances are how new mates find each other, how new packs begin, how the bloodlines continue. I watch and try not to feel the empty space beside me. Try not to think about how no man has ever looked at me with those hungry eyes. Try not to wonder what it would feel like to be wanted just once. Hours pass. I help clear empty plates and cups, since it gives me something to do with my hands and my eyes. No one says thank you. Most don't even notice me at all. I'm just a shadow moving between them, invisible as air. Then everything changes. The music stops all at once, like someone cut all the strings on the instruments at the same time. The talking stops too. Even the night birds go quiet. A feeling runs through the crowd, part fear, part respect, part wonder. That's when I see him. He steps into the clearing from the north side, and it's like the whole world holds its breath. He's so tall that he makes the other men look like boys. His shoulders are wider than my door at home. Muscles move under his skin like river water over rocks. But it's his eyes that catch me and hold me. Bright amber, almost gold in the firelight, deep set under heavy brows. They seem to glow with their own light. Everyone bows their heads as he passes. Even the pack leaders stand to show respect. I've never seen anything like it. The Alpha King, someone whispers near me. From the northern lands. I've heard stories about him all my life. The most powerful alpha wolf ever born. So big in his wolf form that he can take down bears alone. So strong that no one dares challenge him. So fierce that no female has ever been brave enough to be his mate. He doesn't smile as he walks through the crowd. His face is like stone, giving nothing away. The pack leaders rush to greet him, offering him food and drink. He takes nothing, says nothing, just nods once, then moves to stand near the largest fire, alone. I should look away. I know I should. Someone like me should never stare at someone like him. But I can't help it. There's something about him that I can't understand. Behind the strength and the power, behind the fierce eyes and the hard mouth, I see something else. Something that makes my heart hurt in my chest. He's lonely. Just like me. The thought hits me so hard that I gasp out loud. And that's when it happens. His head turns. Those burning eyes sweep across the crowd and find mine. For one heartbeat, maybe two, we just look at each other. Me, the broken Omega girl who no one sees. Him, the mighty Alpha King who everyone fears. Our eyes lock across the clearing, across the fires, across the impossible distance between our worlds. His eyes widen just a bit. I see his chest rise with a quick breath. And then, I can hardly believe it. The corner of his mouth twitches. Not quite a smile, but something. A low growl rumbles through the clearing. It takes me a second to realize it's coming from him. The sound isn't angry or threatening, it's something else. Something that makes my skin feel hot and my legs feel weak. Around me, people turn to stare, wondering what caught the Alpha King's attention. Soon they'll see it's me, and then the whispers will start again. Worse than before. I can't let that happen. I drop the cups I was gathering. They clatter to the ground, but I don't stop to pick them up. I turn and run, as fast as my human legs will carry me, away from the fires, away from the crowd, away from those golden eyes that saw me, really saw me, for the first time in my life. I run all the way back to my cottage, not stopping once, my lungs burning and my heart pounding so hard I think it might break my ribs. Inside, I bolt the door and sink to the floor, my back against the rough wood. What just happened? What did it mean? Why did he look at me that way? It doesn't matter, I tell myself. Tomorrow everything will go back to normal. I'll be invisible again, forgotten, alone. But as I crawl into my small bed, pulling the blankets up to my chin, I can still feel the weight of his gaze. Still hear that low growl that seemed to reach inside me and touch something I didn't know was there. And for the first time in forever, I fall asleep smiling. 3 days pass after the lunar gathering. 3 days of rain that turns the forest paths to mud and keeps me inside my small cottage. I try to forget those golden eyes that looked into mine. I try to forget the strange feeling that filled my chest when the Alpha King saw me. It was just a moment, nothing more, nothing that will ever happen again. I keep busy with my herbs and potions. I hang new bundles of rosemary from my ceiling. I grind dried berries into powder for fever cures. I sweep my floor over and over until not a speck of dirt remains, anything to keep my hands busy and my mind quiet. Outside, the rain falls harder. It drums on my roof like impatient fingers. Water leaks through in 2 places, and I put buckets underneath to catch the drops. The sound of water hitting metal joins the sound of rain on wood. Drip, drop, drip, drop. A song that should make me sleepy but instead keeps me awake, my body tense with a feeling I can't name. Night comes early because of the dark clouds. I light my 3 candles and sit by the fire with a cup of tea. The flames make shadows dance on my walls. I watch them move and try to find shapes in them, a bird, a tree, a wolf running. The wind howls outside, bending the trees and rattling my door in its frame. That's when I hear it. At first, I think it's just the stormwood creaking, branches breaking. But then it comes again, louder, harder. Someone is knocking on my door. No, not knocking, pounding, as if they might break through the wood with their fists. No one comes to my cottage at night. No one comes during storms. Something must be very wrong. I grab my small knife from beside the hearth. It's not much of a weapon, just something I use to cut herbs and vegetables. But it's all I have. My hand shakes as I hold it. My half-wolf senses kick in, making my eyes see better in the dim light, making my nose sharper. I smell rain and wet earth and pine needles from outside, and something else, something metallic and warm, blood. The pounding comes again, making my whole cottage shake. I take a deep breath and step toward the door. My legs feel wobbly beneath me. With one hand, I lift the wooden bar that keeps my door closed. With the other, I hold my knife out in front of me. "Who's there?" I call, trying to make my voice sound strong. No answer comes, just more pounding, more urgent now. I pull the door open just a crack and peer out into the rainy darkness. What I see makes me gasp and step back, the knife falling from my hand to clatter on the floor. He fills the entire doorway, so tall that he has to duck his head to see inside. Rain streams down his face and soaks his clothes. His black hair is plastered to his head, and his golden eyes glow in the darkness like twin flames. The Alpha King, here at my door. But it's not his sudden appearance that makes my heart stop. It's what he's holding. In his massive arms, cradled against his chest, is a small body, a child. And even in the darkness, I can see that both of them are covered in blood. "Help her," he says. His voice is deep and rough, like stones being dragged across the earth. But there's something in it I don't expect fear. This huge man, this mighty Alpha King who everyone fears, is afraid. For a moment, I can't move, can't speak, can't even breathe. The Alpha King is at my door in the middle of the night, holding a bleeding child, asking for my help. This can't be real. I must have fallen asleep by the fire and now I'm dreaming. But the rain that blows in through my open door is cold and wet on my skin. The smell of blood is too sharp, too real to be a dream. And the look in those golden eyes, a look of desperation, of pleading that could never be something I made up in my head. "Please," he says, and the words sound strange coming from him, as if he's not used to asking for anything. There's no one else. The child in his arms makes a small sound, part whimper, part cry. That sound breaks whatever spell has frozen me in place. I may be afraid, I may be confused, but I know what to do when someone is hurt. "Bring her inside," I say, already turning to clear space on my table. My healer's hands take over, steady now, sure of their purpose. I push aside my fear and confusion. Those feelings can wait. Right now, there's work to do. He has to turn sideways to fit through my door. His shoulders are so wide that they almost touch both sides of the frame. Inside, he seems even bigger. My small cottage, which has always been just the right size for me, suddenly feels like a doll's house with him in it. "Put her here," I say, pointing to my table, which I've quickly cleared of herbs and bowls. He lays the child down so gently that it surprises me. How can hands so big be so careful? In the light of my fire and candles, I get my first good look at the child. She's a young girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old. Her face is pale as milk, except for 2 round spots of red on her cheeks. Her hair is as black as the Alpha King's, falling in wet tangles around her face. Her eyes are closed, her breathing fast and shallow. And there, on her side, is a long, deep cut that bleeds through the torn cloth of her dress. The wound is jagged, not clean like a knife would make. It looks like the work of claws, big ones. I don't waste time asking questions. I go to my shelves and grab what I need. Clean cloths, a jar of honey, dried marigold petals, my needle and thread made from animal gut, a pot of numbing salve. My hands know just what to reach for, just what to do. "Hold her still," I tell the Alpha King. "This will hurt her, but I have to clean the wound before I can close it." He nods once and puts his big hands on the girl's shoulders. They cover her small body from neck to waist, making her look even smaller. His face is hard to read, but I see his jaw tighten, the muscles jumping under his wet skin. I work quickly but carefully. First, I cut away the torn dress around the wound. Then, I clean the cut with water I've boiled with pine needles. The girl cries out when the hot water touches her torn flesh, her small body trying to twist away from the pain. The Alpha King holds her firmly but gently. "Shh, little one," I say in my softest voice, the one I use for hurt animals I find in the forest. "I know it hurts, but I'm going to make it better. I promise." Her eyes flutter open for just a moment. They're the same golden color as the Alpha King's, bright against her pale face. She looks at me, then at him, then her eyes close again. But she stops fighting. She lies still under his hands, trusting us both. I spread my numbing salve around the edges of the cut. While we wait for it to work, I look up at the Alpha King. His clothes are soaked through, dripping puddles onto my floor. His face is splashed with blood that isn't his. In the firelight, with shadows dancing across his features, he looks wild and dangerous. But there's something else there too, something that doesn't fit with all the stories I've heard about him. Worry, care, for this child. "Is she your daughter?" I ask quietly as I prepare my needle. He shakes his head once. "My sister's child, my niece." His voice is still rough, but quieter now, as if he's afraid of waking the girl. "What happened to her? Who did this?" His eyes darken, and for a second, I see the wolf inside the man, the predator, the killer, hunters. He says the word like a curse. "They crossed into our territory. They had silver-tipped arrows and knives blessed by witch doctors, weapons made to kill our kind. My hands pause in their work. Silver and blessed blades, these are the worst things for wolf kind. They make our healing powers stop. They make wounds that would normally close in hours stay open for days. They can kill even the strongest alpha. They attacked a small group who were out checking the border. He continues. My sister and her mate were there. The child was with them. I was too far away. By the time I got there, he stops, his mouth a hard line. I understand what he can't say. The girl's parents are dead. She's an orphan now. I killed them, he says, his voice flat. All of them, but not before one of them got to her. I swallow hard and look down at the girl. Her face is so young, so innocent, and now she has no parents, just like me. My heart aches for her. The blade that cut her, I say, picking up my threaded needle. Was it one of the blessed ones? He nods. That's why she's not healing. That's why I brought her to you. They say you know things about herbs and cures that even our pack healers don't know. I look up at him in surprise. They say that about me? Something like a smile touches his mouth. Just for a second. They say many things about you. Before I can ask what he means by that, the girl makes a soft sound of pain. I turn my attention back to her wound. The numbing salve should be working now. I need to close this cut before she loses more blood. Hold her tight, I tell the Alpha King. This part will hurt the most. With steady hands, I begin to sew the edges of the wound together with my gut thread. The girl whimpers, but doesn't cry out. The Alpha King's hands are like warm stones on her skin, keeping her still, keeping her safe. As I work, I talk softly to her, telling her stories about forest animals and kind spirits, anything to take her mind off the pain. I don't know if she can hear me in her half-asleep state, but her face seems to relax a little. When the wound is closed, I mix honey with crushed marigold petals and spread this on top. Honey keeps the bad spirits out of wounds, and marigold helps new skin grow. I cover everything with a clean cloth and tie it in place with strips of soft fabric. There, I say, wiping my hands on a cloth. I've done what I can. Now we wait and see if she heals. The Alpha King looks at the neat bandage, then at me. His golden eyes are unreadable. Will she live? I want to promise him that she will. I want to ease the worry I see hidden behind his hard face. But I can't lie. I hope so. The wound is deep, and the blessed blade makes it worse. But she's young and strong, and she has the blood of the Alpha King in her veins. That counts for a lot. He nods once, accepting my honest answer. Then he looks around my small cottage, his eyes taking in my bed, my few chairs, my simple things. She needs to rest, he says, and she shouldn't be moved. I nod. She can have my bed. It's small but clean. Without asking permission, he gently lifts the girl from my table. I lead him to the corner where my bed sits, and he lays her down as carefully as if she were made of glass. I pull my softest blanket up to her chin. Already her face has a bit more color. Only then, with the girl safely settled, do I really look at the Alpha King again. He's still soaking wet, still splashed with blood, still filling my small house with his massive presence. Water drips from his clothes onto my floor. He must be cold, though he doesn't show it. Outside, the storm has gotten worse. The wind howls like hungry wolves, and rain pounds on my roof harder than ever. No one should be out in weather like this. Not even the mighty Alpha King. You should stay, I hear myself say, and then wonder where I found the courage to suggest such a thing. Until the storm passes. Until morning, at least. He looks at me for a long moment, his golden eyes searching my face. I don't know what he's looking for, but I hold his gaze, refusing to look away first. Finally, he nods. One sharp movement of his head. Until morning, he agrees. And just like that, my life changes forever. The Alpha King, the most powerful wolf in all the territories, the one who makes even other alphas bow their heads in fear and respect, is going to spend the night in my small cottage. What have I done? What will happen now? I don't know the answers. But as I move to put more wood on the fire and find dry clothes that might fit him, though nothing I own will be big enough, I can't help but feel that something important has started. Something that can't be stopped. Like a stone rolling down a hill, picking up speed as it goes. This night is just the beginning of a journey I never expected to take. A journey that started with a look across a crowded clearing and has now brought the Alpha King to my door with a hurt child in his arms and trust in his eyes. Whatever happens next, my life will never be the same again. Days pass like water flowing in a stream. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rain keeps falling outside my cottage, making the world wet and gray. Inside, things have changed in ways I never could have dreamed. The little girl, Maya is her name, sleeps in my bed. She wakes only to drink the healing tea I make for her and to let me change the cloth on her wound. Each time I look at the cut, I see that it's getting better. Slowly, yes, but surely. The angry red edges are turning pink. The heat of sickness is leaving her skin. She is healing. And the Alpha King Einar, though I still struggle to call him by his name, he does not leave. He stays by Maya's side, his big body looking so strange in my small chair. He holds her tiny hand in his huge one when fever makes her cry out in her sleep. He wets her lips with cool water when thirst makes them crack. Shouldn't you go back to your pack? I ask on the 5th morning as I hang herbs to dry. They must need you. He looks up from where he sits beside Maya's bed. My beta is handling things. His eyes, those golden wolf eyes, watch my hands as I work. Maya needs me more right now. What he doesn't say, but what I can see, as clearly as I see the rain falling outside. He needs her too. This fierce, feared Wolf King needs this little girl as much as she needs him. I see it in how his hard face gets soft when he looks at her. I see it in how gently he fixes her blankets, how carefully he combs her dark hair with his fingers. I never thought I would see such tenderness from an alpha, especially one known for his strength and fierceness. But here it is, right in front of me, in my own cottage. The mighty Alpha King, caring for a little girl as if she were the most precious thing in all the world. The rain keeps us inside together. My cottage feels smaller than ever with Einar in it. He's so tall that he must duck to go through doorways. His shoulders are so wide that he bumps into my shelves if he's not careful. Everything I own seems tiny next to him, my cups, my chairs, my blankets. Nothing fits him right. But he doesn't complain, not once. He just folds his big body into the spaces available, trying his best not to break anything or get in my way. During the days, I work at my table, making medicines and drying herbs. He watches me with those golden eyes that see everything. At first, his staring makes me nervous. I drop things and make mistakes I wouldn't normally make. But as the days pass, I get used to him being there. I start to forget to be afraid. When Maya sleeps, which is most of the time, Einar and I talk. Little things at first. The rain, the wind, the forest. Then bigger things. He tells me about the northern territories where he rules, about mountains so tall they touch the clouds, about lakes so clear you can see all the way to the bottom even when they're very deep. It's beautiful there, he says, and for the first time I hear longing in his voice. Homesickness. Even kings get homesick, it seems. Tell me about your pack, I say one night as we sit by the fire. Maya sleeps peacefully, her fever finally gone. Einar's eyes look far away, seeing things I can't see. They are strong, loyal, the best fighters in all the territories. Do they fear you? I ask before I can stop myself. His eyes come back to mine, sharp now, curious. What do you think? I look down at my hands in my lap, my almost human, almost wolf hands that never quite change all the way. Everyone fears you. That's what they say. And you? His voice is quieter now. Do you fear me? The question hangs between us like smoke. Do I fear him? This man who could break me with one hand? This wolf who has killed more enemies than anyone can count? I should. Any smart person would. But I've seen him hold Maya's tiny hand. I've seen him wipe tears from her face. I've seen him sit for hours in a too small chair just to be near her. Not anymore, I answer honestly. He doesn't smile, I don't think he knows how, but something in his face changes, softens, just a little. That night, after Maya is asleep and the fire has burned low, he asks me the question I've been dreading. Why do you live alone, so far from the others? The question feels like a stone dropping into still water, making ripples that reach all the way to my heart. No one has ever asked me this before. No one has ever cared enough to want to know. Omegas aren't wanted in pack life, I say, trying to make my voice sound like I don't care. Especially ones like me who can't shift properly. His eyes narrow a bit. Show me. Fear jumps in my belly. What? Show me your shift, the part you can do. Shame makes my face hot. No one asks to see my half shift. It's something to be hidden, to be ashamed of. But the way he's looking at me doesn't feel like he's trying to make me feel bad. He just wants to see, to understand. With hands that shake a little, I push up my sleeves. I close my eyes and let the change come. It starts as it always does, a warm feeling under my skin, a stretching sensation in my fingers. I feel my nails grow longer, curving into the beginnings of claws. My teeth sharpen just a bit behind my lips. My hearing gets better, and I can suddenly hear Maya's soft breathing from across the room, the beat of Einar's heart, the mice in the walls. But that's where it stops. Always. My body frozen between human and wolf. Neither one nor the other. Caught in the middle. I open my eyes and hold out my hands for him to see. My almost claws. My half change. My failure. Einar doesn't laugh. He doesn't look away in disgust. Instead, he reaches out one of his massive hands and takes mine. His skin is warm and rough, with calluses from fighting and hunting. My hand disappears inside his, but he holds it gently, turning it over, looking at my half-shifted fingers with interest, not judgment. I've never seen anything like this, he says. Because it's wrong, I whisper. Because I'm broken. His eyes flash to mine, suddenly fierce. No, because it's rare, special. The word hits me like a surprise rain shower. Special? No one has ever called my half-shift special before. Wrong, yes. Broken, yes. Useless, many times. But special? Never. The elders say I'm an abomination. I tell him, the word's hard to say but necessary. He should know what everyone thinks, what everyone knows. They say I should have been left in the forest as a baby. His hand tightens around mine. Not enough to hurt, but enough to feel his strength. The elders are fools. I almost gasp at his words. No one speaks against the elders. No one. You're not broken, he continues, his voice low and sure. You're just different. And different isn't always wrong. Something inside me cracks open at his words. A door I've kept locked for so long that I forgot it was there. Tears fill my eyes before I can stop them. I try to pull my hand away, embarrassed to be crying in front of him, but he doesn't let go. My sister was like you, he says quietly. I blink up at him through my tears. Maya's mother? But she must have been an alpha female to be your sister. He nods. She was. But she had her own struggles. She couldn't control her shift when she was young. It would happen without warning, usually when she was upset or scared. Made it hard for her to be around others. People feared her because of it. What happened to her? I ask, though I already know the end of the story. Maya has no parents now. She learned to control it over time. She grew strong, found a good mate, had Maya. His face darkens. And then the hunters came. We sit in silence for a while after that. He still holds my hand, and I let him. It feels right somehow. Connected. That night, something changes between us. A wall comes down. After he lets go of my hand, we keep talking, really talking. I tell him things I've never told anyone, how lonely it is to be different, how hard it is to be seen as less than by everyone, how much I've taught myself about plants and healing, because it was the only way I could be useful to the pack. And he tells me things too, how heavy it is to be king, how all the females in his pack and others either fear him too much to come near or want him only for his power, never for himself. How no one ever just talks to him like a normal person. How he's never known what it's like to have someone look him in the eye without fear or want. They offer submission, he says, looking into the fire, but never companionship. Their loss, I say without thinking. Then feel my face get hot when I realize what I've said. He looks at me, those golden eyes reflecting the firelight, and I think I see the corner of his mouth lift, just a little, almost a smile. We talk until the fire burns low and Maya stirs in her sleep. Then he sends me to rest on the pile of blankets I've been sleeping on while he takes the chair beside Maya's bed, my bed again. The next day, Maya wakes up fully for the first time. Her golden eyes, so like her uncle's, look around my cottage with curiosity. "Who are you?" she asks me, her voice small and a bit scratchy from disuse. "I'm the one who's been taking care of you," I tell her, smiling. "My name is—" "She's a healer," Einar cuts in, his big hand smoothing Maya's dark hair. "The best healer in all the territories. She saved your life, little wolf." Maya looks at me with new respect. I smile at her, but inside, I'm thinking about Einar's words. The best healer in all the territories? Is that really what he thinks of me? The warm feeling that spreads through my chest at the thought is new and strange and wonderful. As the days pass, Maya gets stronger. She starts to sit up in bed, then to stand for short times, then to walk slowly around my cottage. Her wound is healing well, the blessed blade's power broken by my herbs and medicines. Soon she is helping me sort leaves and berries, her small hands quick and clever. Einar watches us together, something soft in his usually hard face. Sometimes I catch him looking at me when he thinks I don't notice. Not like others have looked at me with disgust or pity, but with something else. Something that makes my heart beat faster and my skin feel warm. At night, after Maya is asleep, we still talk by the fire. I learn that he loves the taste of blackberries but hates honey. He learns that I'm afraid of deep water but love the rain. Small things, everyday things. Things friends would know about each other. Are we friends now? This mighty Alpha King and me, the broken Omega? It seems impossible. Yet, here we are, sharing a cottage, caring for a child together, talking by firelight as if we've known each other forever. One night, a full moon rises, bright enough to shine through my window despite the rain. Einar stands restlessly by the door, looking out at the wet forest. I know what's happening. The moon calls to his wolf, urging him to shift, to run, to hunt. He's been in my small cottage for many days now. He must feel trapped. "You can go out," I tell him softly, so as not to wake Maya. "Run for a while. I'll watch over her." He looks back at me, surprise in his eyes. Then gratitude. With one nod, he slips outside into the rainy night. Through my window, I watch the most powerful shift I've ever seen. His body changes smoothly, effortlessly, growing even larger as fur the color of midnight covers him from nose to tail. His wolf form is enormous, shoulder high to a tall man, with powerful legs and jaws, that could crush bone. He looks back at my cottage once, his wolf eyes still that same burning gold. Then he runs into the forest, a shadow moving among shadows. While he's gone, I sit beside Maya and gently comb her hair with my fingers the way I've seen him do. "You're lucky," I tell her, sleeping form, "to have someone who loves you so much." She smiles in her sleep, as if she can hear me even in her dreams. Einar returns before dawn, shifting back to his human form before entering my cottage. His hair and clothes are wet from the rain, but his eyes are bright and his face more relaxed than I've seen it before. The run did him good. "Thank you," he says simply. I nod, understanding, and in that moment, with the rain still falling outside, and Maya sleeping peacefully in my bed, and Einar looking at me with those golden eyes that see everything, I realize something that should frighten me but somehow doesn't. I'm falling in love with the Alpha King. The thought should be ridiculous, impossible, dangerous. But as the morning light begins to filter through my window, turning his wet black hair to blue-black and softening the hard lines of his face, all I feel is a strange kind of peace. Whatever happens next, good or bad, joy or heartbreak, this time with him and Maya in my small cottage has changed me forever, and I wouldn't take back a single moment of it, even if I could. The rain finally stops on the 10th day. Sunlight breaks through the clouds, making the wet forest shine like it's covered in tiny diamonds. Maya is almost fully healed now. She runs around my small cottage, touching everything, asking questions about all my herbs and potions. Her golden eyes, so like her uncle's, are bright with curiosity and life. Einar watches her with a softness in his face that still surprises me. When she brings him a pretty stone or a strange-shaped leaf from just outside the door, he looks at it as if she's handed him the greatest treasure in the world. It makes my heart feel both full and achy at the same time. This strange little family we've become, it can't last. I know this. Soon Maya will be strong enough to travel. Soon Einar will take her back to the northern territories where they belong. And I will stay here, in my cottage, at the edge of the packlands, alone again. I try not to think about it. I try to just enjoy these golden days of Maya's laughter and Einar's quiet presence. I try to burn into my memory the way his hand feels when it accidentally touches mine as we pass the water jug. The way his eyes crinkle at the corners when Maya makes him almost smile. The way the three of us fit around my small table, as if we've been eating together forever. But thinking about the future is like trying not to think about a bear in the room. The more you try not to see it, the bigger it seems to get. On this sunny morning, I'm outside hanging freshly washed clothes on a line stretched between two trees. Maya is helping me, handing me wooden pins to hold the wet clothes in place. Einar sits on a stump nearby, whittling a small piece of wood with his knife. He's making another toy for Maya, a little wolf this time, to go with the rabbit and fox he's already carved for her. The forest is alive with sounds after so many days of just rain. Birds singing, squirrels chattering, leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. It feels like the world is celebrating the sunshine with us. That's when we hear it. The sound of many feet moving through the forest, coming toward my cottage, not trying to be quiet, wanting to be heard. The heavy tread of big men, of alphas. Maya hears it too. Her little body goes still, her head turning toward the sound like a deer sensing danger. "Uncle Einar?" she says, her voice suddenly small. Einar is on his feet in one smooth motion, the toy and knife gone, his body suddenly seeming twice as big as before. His face changes, all the softness disappearing, replaced by the hard mask of the Alpha King that I first saw at the lunar gathering. "Get inside," he says to us, his voice a low rumble like far-off thunder. I grab Maya's hand and pull her toward the cottage door. But before we can reach it, they break through the trees into the small clearing around my home. 5 of them, All alphas. All big men with hard faces and cold eyes. I recognize them. They're from different packs, but all are pack leaders or high-ranking betas. I've seen them at gatherings, always in the center of things, always loud and proud and full of their own importance. They stop when they see Einar. Even they, powerful as they are in their own territories, seem to pause in the face of the Alpha King's presence. For a second, no one speaks. The forest itself seems to hold its breath. Then one steps forward. Raoul, the leader of the Eastern Pack. His red-brown hair is shot through with gray, but his body is still strong, his face still fierce. Alpha King, he says, his voice careful but carrying an edge. We've come to speak with you. Einar doesn't move. Then speak. Raoul's eyes flick to me and Maya, then back to Einar. Perhaps somewhere more private. Whatever you have to say, you can say here, Einar replies, and I hear the warning in his voice. He is not going to leave us alone with these men. Not for a second. Raoul's face tightens. Very well. The Council of Alphas demands your return to the Northern Territories. There are matters that need your attention, treaties to be discussed, borders to be settled. The Council of Alphas has no power to demand anything of me, Einar says, his voice so calm it's almost more frightening than if he had shouted. And my beta is handling all necessary matters. Another alpha steps forward, Kel of the Western Pack, younger than Raoul but just as fierce. Your beta sends word that challenges are being raised in your absence. Some say you've abandoned your duties. Some say you're not fit to rule anymore. I feel a chill run through me at these words. Challenges to an alpha's rule are serious. They can mean fights to the death. But Einar just raises one eyebrow. And what concern is this of yours? The Northern Territories are not your lands. The alphas exchange looks. Something passes between them, some message I can't read. Then Raoul speaks again, his voice harder now. It becomes our concern when the Alpha King abandons his post to stay in the company of her. He points at me, his finger like an arrow aimed at my heart. The Omega Witch has enchanted you, Kel adds, his lip curling in disgust as he looks at me. No true alpha would choose such company otherwise. Maya's hand tightens in mine. I feel her trembling. I want to run, to hide, to get her away from these men with their cold eyes and cruel words. But there's nowhere to go. And Einar changes. There's no other word for it. One moment he is standing there, tall and imposing but still in his human form. The next moment, he is something else entirely. His shift happens so fast that my eyes can hardly follow it. 1 second a man, the next a monster. There's no other word for the enormous black wolf that suddenly stands where Einar was. He's twice the size of any wolf I've ever seen, his fur bristling, his teeth bared in a snarl that makes the very ground seem to shake. The alphas step back as one, their faces showing the first real fear I've seen from them. Even 5 against 1, they know they cannot win against him. Not against the Alpha King in his full power, his full rage. The sound that comes from him isn't a growl. It's deeper than that, more primal. It's the sound of mountains moving, of storms brewing, of death approaching on swift paws. For a long, terrible moment, no one moves. Then, as suddenly as it happened, Einar shifts back to his human form, but the wildness remains in his eyes, the threat clear in every line of his body. Speak of her that way again, he says, his voice deadly quiet, and I will forget all treaties between our territories. The alphas look at each other, uncertainty in their faces now. This is not what they expected. They thought to find Einar weakened, perhaps, enchanted, as they said, but what stands before them is not weak. What stands before them is more dangerous than they've ever seen him. The council merely wishes to understand your situation, Raoul says, trying to find firmer ground. You've been gone for many days. and to stay with an Omega, one who cannot even properly shift. He trails off as Einar takes one step toward him. Just one step. But it's enough. Raoul goes silent. My situation? Einar says, each word precise and cold as ice, is not the Council's concern. The Northern Territories are mine. The pack is mine. I will return when I choose to return, not before. And the girl? Kel asks, looking at Maya. Something in his eyes makes me pull her closer to me, half behind my skirts. The Council has rights where orphaned cubs of alpha blood are concerned, especially the bloodline of the Northern Alpha. The girl, Einar says, and his voice actually makes the birds in the trees go silent, is my niece, my blood under my protection, and under hers. He nods toward me, and I feel a shock run through me at being included in his protection. The Alphas are silent for a long moment. Then, as if by some unspoken agreement, they begin to back away. This isn't over, Alpha King, Raoul says. The Council will want answers. Then let them come ask me themselves, Einar replies. But you should warn them. My answer won't change. We watch as the Alphas disappear back into the forest. Only when they're gone from sight does Einar turn to look at us. His face is still hard, still fierce, but when his eyes meet mine, I see a question there, a worry. Are you all right? He asks, and I realize he's speaking to both of us. Maya nods, but she stays close to me, her little body still trembling slightly. I put my arm around her shoulders. We're fine, I tell him, though my heart is still racing from what I just saw, both the threat of the Alphas and the terrifying glory of Einar's full shift. He looks at us for a long moment, as if making sure for himself that we're truly unharmed. Then he nods once and turns to look back at the forest where the Alphas disappeared. They'll be back, he says quietly, or others will come in their place. I know he's right. Now that they've found us, found him here with me, the story will spread. The mighty Alpha King, staying in a tiny cottage with a half-shift Omega and an orphaned cub, it's too strange, too unexpected, too much of a threat to the way things have always been. That night, after Maya is asleep, Einar stands guard outside. I can see him through my window, a massive shadow pacing back and forth at the edge of the clearing, watching, listening, protecting. I wrap a shawl around my shoulders and go out to him. The night air is cool after the rain, heavy with the smell of wet earth and growing things. Stars shine overhead in patches between the clouds. You should rest, I tell him, though I know it's useless. He won't rest tonight, maybe not for many nights to come. He doesn't look at me, his eyes scanning the dark forest. They called you a witch, he says, and there's a question in his voice. I sigh and wrap my shawl tighter. Some people call me that because of my healing herbs. They don't understand what I do, so they fear it. It's easier to fear what you don't understand. Now he does look at me, his golden eyes bright even in the darkness. Is that what you think? That I feared you when we first met? The question surprises me. I have to think about it. Did he fear me? This mighty Alpha who fears nothing? No, I say finally. You didn't fear me. You saw me. Something shifts in his face at my words. Something that might, in another man, have been a smile. But Einar doesn't smile. He just looks at me with those eyes that see everything, that have always seen me. Go inside, he says softly. Keep Maya safe. I'll watch over you both. I want to say more. I want to tell him that I'm not afraid. Not anymore. Not of the Alphas. Not of what people will say. Not even of the feelings growing in my heart for him. But the words stick in my throat. Instead, I just nod and turn to go back inside. His voice stops me at the door. They were wrong, you know. I look back at him, confused. About what? His eyes hold mine, steady and sure. About you enchanting me. It wasn't magic that kept me here. My heart beats so hard I'm sure he can hear it with his wolf senses. "What was it then?" I whisper. For a long moment he's silent. Then, "Go inside," he says again. Dawn comes early. I do as he says, but as I close the door, I think I understand what he couldn't say. What keeps him here is the same thing that makes me hope, against all reason, that he won't leave when Maya is fully healed. It's not magic. It's not enchantment. It's something much simpler and much more complicated. It's feeling safe for the first time. It's being seen for who you truly are. It's finding, in the most unlikely place, someone who doesn't want to change you, or fix you, or use you. Someone who just wants to be with you. Inside, I check on Maya, tucking her blanket more securely around her small body. She smiles in her sleep, safe and content, despite the danger that came today. I touch her dark hair gently, thinking of how quickly she's become dear to me, how much I'll miss her when she's gone. Then I go to my window and look out at Einar's broad back as he stands guard in the moonlight. The Alpha King, protector of the Northern Territories, now standing guard over my tiny cottage, over Maya, over me. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know if the Alphas will return, or what they'll do if they do. I don't know if Einar truly feels for me what I'm beginning to feel for him, or if I'm just a safe haven in a storm, a temporary shelter until the danger passes. All I know is that tonight, in this moment, I am not alone. For the first time in my life, someone stands between me and the world that has always been so cold to me. Someone has declared me worthy of protection. And even if it all ends tomorrow, even if Einar takes Maya and returns to his territories and never thinks of me again, I will have had this moment of belonging, this taste of what it means to be valued, to be seen. No one can take that from me. Not the council, not the Alphas with their cold eyes and cruel words, not even time itself. Outside, Einar turns and looks toward my window. Though the night is dark, I know he can see me standing there. His wolf eyes pierce the darkness as easily as they've pierced the walls I built around my heart. I raise my hand in a small wave. After a moment, he nods once, then turns back to his watch. And somehow, that single nod feels like a promise. The morning comes with a heavy fog that wraps around my cottage like a thick blanket. I can't see more than a few steps into the forest. The world feels small today, closed in, as if nothing exists beyond what I can see. Maybe that's why his words hit me so hard. I must return. Einar says this as we sit at my table, morning sunlight trying to push through the fog outside the window. Maya is playing on the floor with the wooden animals he carved for her, making the wolf chase the rabbit around in circles. For a moment, I think I didn't hear him right. But his golden eyes are steady on mine, waiting for my response. I try to keep my face calm, try to keep my voice from shaking. When? Tomorrow. The word falls between us like a stone. There are threats I must address. Challenges to my leadership. I've been away too long. I nod, because what else can I do? I've always known this day would come. From the first night he arrived at my door with Maya bleeding in his arms, I knew he wouldn't stay forever. Kings don't live in tiny cottages at the edge of the forest. They don't eat simple food from wooden bowls. They don't sit by small fires night after night, talking to broken omegas about stars and dreams and favorite colors. Maya will miss you, I say, looking down at my hands. My strange hands that can't fully shift, that can only heal and help and hold, never fight or hunt or protect. And you? His voice is so quiet I almost don't hear it. The question makes me look up. His face is still hard, still the face of the Alpha King that everyone fears. But his eyes are asking me something I'm not sure I can answer. I've grown used to having you both here, I say carefully. It will be very quiet when you're gone. Something flickers across his face, Too fast for me to read. Disappointment? Relief? I don't know. Maya needs to see her homeland, he says. She needs to learn our ways, our stories. She's the future of the Northern Pack now. I look at the little girl playing on my floor, her dark hair falling across her face as she makes growling noises for her toy wolf. In just these few weeks, she's become so dear to me. Her laugh, her questions, her small hand slipping into mine when we walk in the woods to gather herbs. The thought of never seeing her again makes my chest hurt. She'll be a wonderful leader someday, I say, and I mean it. Maya has a gentle heart but a strong will. She's brave and kind and curious. The Northern Pack will be lucky to have her. Einar watches her too, his face softening in that way it only does for her. She's been happy here, with you. He looks back at me. Happier than I've seen her since my sister died. I don't know what to say to that, so I just nod and start clearing our breakfast dishes. My hands need something to do, something to keep them from shaking. I'll prepare some healing herbs for you to take, I say, moving to my shelves. For Maya's wound, just in case it troubles her on the journey, and some tea for sleep, if she has bad dreams. I'm babbling, talking too much, too fast, but I can't seem to stop. And I'll pack some of those honey cakes she likes. It's a long journey to the Northern Territories. She'll get hungry, and you know how she gets when she's hungry. All cross and pouty, just like me. Einar finishes my sentence with what might almost be a smile. I stop and look at him, really look at him. This huge, fierce man who came into my life like a storm, changing everything, who showed me kindness when no one else ever had, who looked at my broken shifting and called it special instead of wrong. Yes, I say softly, just like you. The day passes too quickly. I pack herbs and medicines, food for their journey, a small blanket I've been making for Maya from scraps of soft cloth. Einar goes hunting and brings back a deer, which he prepares outside my cottage. It's his way of leaving me with food, I realize, of making sure I'll be okay without him. Maya follows me everywhere, helping me gather things, asking questions about where she's going. Is it cold in the Northern Territories? Will I have my own room? Are there other children for me to play with? That last question stops me cold. Oh, little one, I say, kneeling down to her level. I can't visit the Northern Territories. It's too far, and I don't belong there. Her golden eyes fill with tears. But you belong with us. Uncle Einar said you're family now. Did he really say that? My heart jumps at the thought, but I push the feeling down. It doesn't matter what he said. The Alpha King can't make an Omega part of his family. That's not how our world works. I'll always be your friend, I tell her, wiping a tear from her cheek. And you'll always have a place here, if you ever want to come back. She throws her small arms around my neck, hugging me so tight it almost hurts. I'll come back, she promises. Every moon. Every single moon. I hold her close, breathing in her scent of pine needles and sunshine, trying to memorize everything about this moment. I don't tell her that she can't possibly keep that promise, that once she's back in the Northern Territories, surrounded by other alphas, learning to be what she was born to be, she'll forget all about the strange Omega healer who took care of her for a few weeks. That night, after Maya is asleep, Einar and I sit by the fire as we've done so many nights before. But tonight feels different, heavier. The weight of tomorrow hangs between us like a shadow. You'll take good care of her, I say. It's not a question. He nods, with my life. And she'll take good care of you. This makes him look at me, one eyebrow raised. I smile a little. She watches out for you, you know. Makes sure you eat when you're too busy thinking. Tells me when you haven't slept well. Now both his eyebrows go up. Does she now? She's going to be a handful when she gets older. Strong-willed, independent, Like her mother. His voice softens on these words. And like her uncle, I add. We fall silent, watching the flames dance. There's so much I want to say to him, so many feelings tangled up inside me that I don't have words for. But what's the point? Tomorrow he'll be gone, back to his life of power and duty and strength. And I'll still be here, the Omega who can't fully shift, living alone at the edge of the Packlands. Will you be all right? He asks suddenly. After we're gone? The question surprises me. No one has ever asked about my well-being before. No one has ever worried about me being alone. I've always been all right on my own, I say. Which isn't really an answer. He looks at me for a long moment, those golden eyes seeing right through me as they always do. That's not what I asked. I look down at my hands in my lap. I'll miss you, I admit softly. Both of you, but yes, I'll be all right. The pack leaders won't trouble you? After what happened with the alphas who came, I shake my head. They never bother with me unless they need healing. I'm not worth their time. His hand suddenly covers both of mine, his skin warm and rough against mine. Don't say that, he says, his voice low and fierce. Don't ever say that. I look up at him, startled by his touch, by his words. It's just the truth. I'm just a half-shift Omega. I'm not your everything, he interrupts, and now his voice is almost a growl. You saved Maya's life. You've made her happy when I thought she might never smile again. You've given me. He stops, as if he can't find the right words. Given you what? I whisper. His eyes hold mine, and in them I see a storm of feelings that match the ones in my own heart. Peace, he says finally. For the first time in my life, I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what it means, what he's trying to tell me. Before I can find the words, he stands up, his hand slipping away from mine. I should check the perimeter once more before morning, he says, his voice back to normal, all business again. Get some rest. We leave at dawn, and then he's gone, out into the night, leaving me by the fire with cold hands and a heart full of questions. Morning comes too soon. The fog has lifted, leaving behind a day so bright and clear it hurts my eyes. Or maybe that's just from the tears I didn't let myself cry all night. Maya hugs me so many times I lose count, making me promise to take care of her wooden animals until she returns. Einar stands a little apart, his face set in lines that give nothing away. He's dressed for travel, for his role as Alpha King again. Even his posture is different. Straighter, harder, more distant. Already he's leaving behind the man who sat by my fire and carved toys for his niece. When it's time, Maya takes his hand and looks up at me with wet eyes. Don't forget me, she says. I kneel down and touch her cheek. Never, I promise. How could I forget the bravest, smartest girl in all the territories? She smiles through her tears and hugs me one last time. Then she steps back, waiting while Einar and I face each other. What do you say to someone who changed your whole world in just a few weeks? Who made you feel seen and valued for the first time in your life? Who showed you what it might be like to not be alone? Thank you, I say, because it's all I can think of, for trusting me with her, with yourself. He looks down at me, and for just a moment, his mask slips. I see the man beneath the Alpha King, the one who told me I was special, who held my hand by the fire, who protected me without a second thought. Kings don't mate with broken Omegas, I whisper, so low that only his wolf hearing will catch it. It's not how our world works. His hand comes up to touch my face, just once, his calloused fingers gentle against my skin. I am not most kings, he says, and you are not broken. Then he bends down, and his lips brush mine. Light as a feather, warm as sunshine. It's over so quickly I might have imagined it, except for the tingling feeling that spreads from my mouth to the rest of my body, making me feel like I might float away. "I will return," he says, his voice low and sure. "A promise." And then they're gone, walking away down the forest path. The massive Alpha King and the small girl with golden eyes. I watch until I can't see them anymore, until the trees swallow them up and take them away from me. Only then do I let the tears come, standing alone in front of my cottage, the place that felt like a home for the first time in forever when they were in it. "I'll be here," I whisper to the empty forest, to the man who can no longer hear me. "If you come back, I'll be here." Days pass, then weeks. Maya's wooden animals sit on my shelf, waiting for her to return and play with them again. I go back to my old life, gathering herbs, making medicines, helping the pack members who come to me with their ailments and injuries. But everything feels different now. The cottage seems too quiet, too empty. The nights are too long without stories by the fire. I miss them, more than I thought possible, more than makes any sense for people who were in my life such a short time. Each day, I look down the path, hoping to see them coming back. Each night, I dream of golden eyes and gentle hands and a voice that called me special. But they don't come back. And slowly, I begin to accept that they won't, that the Alpha King has returned to his life, and I to mine. That the magic we shared for those few weeks was just that, magic. Not meant to last in the real world, where alphas and omegas don't mix, where kings don't love broken girls who can't fully shift. So I do what I've always done. I survive. I work. I live my quiet life on the edge of the packlands, with only memories to keep me company now. And if sometimes, on clear nights when the moon is full, I stand outside my cottage and look north, wondering if he's looking at the same moon, well, that's my secret to keep. A full moon has come and gone since Einar and Maya left. The forest has changed from summer green to early autumn gold. Leaves drift down from the trees like tiny boats sailing on air. At night, the first cool breezes whisper of winter coming. I've tried to go back to my old life. I gather my herbs in the daytime. I make my medicines and salves. I help the few pack members who still come to me when they're hurt or sick. But my heart isn't in it the way it once was. Everything feels empty now, like a shell with nothing inside. At night, I sit by my fire alone and look at the wooden animals on my shelf, the wolf, the fox, the rabbit that Einar carved for Maya. I wonder where they are, what they're doing. Is Maya happy in her new home? Does she still talk about me? Does Einar ever think of the quiet days we spent in this small cottage? I tell myself to stop wondering, to stop hoping. They're gone, back to their real life, and I need to live mine. But it's hard when every corner of my cottage holds a memory of them. Maya's laugh when she played with the wooden animals. Einar's deep voice telling stories by the fire. The way my table seemed just the right size when we all sat around it together. This morning dawns clear and cold. Frost covers the ground like a blanket of tiny stars. I'm outside, gathering the last of the healing flowers that grow near my cottage when I hear them coming. Not bothering to hide their approach, not trying to be quiet. Feet marching through the forest, coming straight for me. My heart jumps in my chest. Could it be Einar and Maya returning? But no, the footsteps are all wrong. Too many, too heavy, too threatening. I straighten up from my garden, my basket of flowers in my hands, and watch as they break through the trees. 3 men, all wearing the gray cloaks of council enforcers. I've seen their kind before, though never at my cottage. They're betas mostly, chosen for their strength and their complete loyalty to the Council of Alphas. They enforce the Council's will throughout all the territories, carrying out punishments, settling disputes, making sure all packs follow the ancient laws. My mouth goes dry. Why would Council enforcers come to see me? I've broken no laws. I keep to myself. I'm no threat to anyone. They stop a few steps away from me. The leader, A tall man with a scar running down one side of his face looks me up and down with cold eyes. "You are the Omega healer?" he asks, though he clearly already knows the answer. I nod, not trusting my voice. He pulls a rolled piece of paper from inside his cloak and holds it out. "By order of the High Council, the orphaned pup of Northern Territory bloodline is to be remanded into council custody until proper placement can be determined." For a moment, I don't understand. My mind goes blank, unable to make sense of his words. Then it hits me like a slap. They're talking about Maya. They've come for Maya. But Maya isn't here. She left with Einar a month ago. Surely they know this? "She's not here," I say, my voice coming out steadier than I expected. "She left with her uncle, the Alpha King, 4 weeks ago. They returned to the Northern Territories." The enforcer's face doesn't change. "Our information says the child remains in your care. The Alpha King has returned to his duties, but the child was left with you." I shake my head, confused. "No, that's wrong. They left together. I watched them go." The 3 enforcers exchange looks. The leader's face hardens. "Search the cottage," he orders the other 2. "Wait," I say, stepping in front of them. "You can't just—" The leader cuts me off. "We have the authority of the High Council. We can do whatever is necessary to carry out our orders." The other 2 enforcers push past me and enter my cottage. I hear them moving around inside, opening cupboards, looking under my bed, checking every corner as if Maya might be hiding somewhere. I turn back to the leader, anger starting to replace my confusion. Why would the council care about Maya? She's with her uncle. He's her family, her blood. The enforcer's lip curls slightly. Omegas cannot raise alpha children, especially defective Omegas. The word hits me like a stone. Defective. That's what they all think of me. What they've always thought. A broken thing, not worth their time or care. "I'm not raising her," I say, trying to keep my voice calm. "She's with her uncle, with the Alpha King." But even as I say it, doubt creeps into my mind. Why hasn't Einar sent any word to me in these 4 weeks? Not even to let me know they arrived safely? Why haven't any travelers from the north mentioned seeing Maya at the Alpha King's side? The other 2 enforcers come out of my cottage. "Nothing," one reports. "No sign of the child." The leader's eyes narrow as he looks at me. "Where is she?" "I told you she left with." "The Alpha King himself has agreed to this arrangement," the enforcer cuts in. "He has informed the council that the child was to remain in your care until suitable placement could be found. He acknowledged that an Omega is not fit to raise an alpha child of royal blood." I stare at him, unable to believe what I'm hearing. Einar would never say such things, would never agree to have Maya taken from me if she had been left with me in the first place, which she wasn't. "You're lying," I say, the words coming out before I can stop them. The enforcer's face darkens with anger. "Watch your tongue, Omega! You address a council enforcer!" But something has broken open inside me. Some dam that was holding back all my doubts, all my fears, all my loneliness since Einar and Maya left. And now that it's broken, a flood of courage rushes in to fill the empty spaces. "I said you're lying." I repeat, my voice stronger now. The Alpha King would never give up his niece, and he would never agree to let the council decide her fate. She is his blood, his family, his responsibility. The enforcer takes a step toward me, his hand moving to the knife at his belt. "This is your last chance, Omega. Tell us where you've hidden the child, or face the consequences." I should be afraid. I should back down, apologize, try to explain again. That would be the smart thing to do, the safe thing. But I'm tired of being safe. Tired of being small and quiet and invisible. Tired of letting everyone else decide what I am, what I'm worth, what I deserve. "And what consequences would those be?" I ask, standing my ground. Will you hurt me? Kill me? For what? For telling the truth? For protecting a child who isn't even here? The enforcer's eyes widened slightly. He clearly didn't expect this from me. Omegas don't talk back. They don't stand up to council enforcers. They certainly don't challenge them. Something in his face changes. A flicker of uncertainty before his mask of authority slips back into place. The child belongs with her own kind, with alphas who can teach her to be strong, to use her gifts, not with a half-shift who can barely take care of herself. His words sting, but I don't let them break my new courage. Maya isn't here, I say again, but even if she were, she would stay with me. The Alpha King trusted me with her life when she was hurt. He knows I would protect her with my own life if needed. Enough, the enforcer barks. Since you insist on lying, we'll take you to the council chambers. Perhaps a night in the cells will loosen your tongue. He makes a sharp gesture, and the other two enforcers move to grab my arms. Their hands are rough, their grips tight enough to hurt. I try to pull away, but they're too strong. Of course they are. They're betas, and I'm just an omega, a defective one at that. But as they start to drag me away from my cottage, something strange happens inside me. My half-shift, the thing that's always made me different, always made me less in everyone's eyes, suddenly flares to life without me even trying to call it. My nails lengthen, curving into almost claws. My teeth sharpen behind my lips. My senses heighten, making the forest around me come alive with smells and sounds. And with these changes comes a clarity I've never felt before, a certainty about what I need to do. These men are lying about Einar, about the council's orders, about everything. If they take me away, I'll never see my cottage again. And if by some miracle Maya does come back, looking for me, she'll find nothing but an empty house, cold ashes in the hearth. I can't let that happen. I won't. My hand slips into the pocket of my apron, where I always keep a small pouch of my most powerful herbs. Not healing herbs this time, but something else. Something I made long ago, just in case. Just for protection. With a quick twist of my body, I pull the pouch out and blow a handful of crushed leaves and flowers into the faces of the enforcers. The powder fills the air around us, glittering in the morning sun like tiny stars. The effect is immediate. The men start coughing, their eyes watering. Their grips on my arms loosen as they raise their hands to their faces. I pull free and step back, watching as they try to catch their breath. "What have you done, witch?" The leader gasps, his eyes red and streaming. "Nothing permanent," I tell him. "Just something to make it hard for you to shift for a while. Hard to chase someone when you can't turn into a wolf, isn't it?" His face contorts with rage as he realizes what I've done. But already I can see that my herbs are working. His body twitches as he tries to call his shift, but nothing happens. The other two are having the same problem, their faces showing confusion and fear as their bodies refuse to change. I don't waste any more time. "Run, Maya!" I shout, even though she isn't here, isn't anywhere near. But the enforcers don't know that for sure. Let them think she was hiding nearby, that she's escaping while they're disabled. Then I turn and run too, into the forest that has always been my home, my sanctuary. I know these woods better than anyone. Every path, every hiding place, every cave and hollow tree. The enforcers might know how to track in their wolf forms, but as humans, they'll never find me if I don't want to be found. I run until my lungs burn and my legs ache. I run until I can't hear them crashing through the underbrush behind me. I run until the familiar trees give way to parts of the forest I rarely visit, far from any packlands. Only then do I slow down, leaning against a tree trunk to catch my breath. My heart pounds in my chest, not just from running, but from what I've done. I've defied council enforcers. I've used my herbs against them. I've run away. There's no going back now. Even if they didn't already want to take me in for questioning, they'll certainly want to punish me for what I just did. If I return to my cottage, they'll be waiting for me. I slide down to sit at the base of the tree, my legs suddenly too weak to hold me up. What have I done? Where can I go? How will I survive away from my cottage, my herbs, everything I know? But even as these fearful questions fill my mind, another thought pushes them aside. A fiercer thought. A stronger one. I did the right thing. I stood up for myself. I refused to let them take me, to lock me away, to treat me like I was nothing. For the first time in my life, I fought back against the people who have always looked down on me. And it felt good. As my breathing slows and my heart steadies, I look around at the unfamiliar part of the forest. The trees are older here, taller. The underbrush is thicker. There are no paths, no signs of people or wolves passing through. It's wild and a little frightening, but also beautiful in its untamed way. I get to my feet, brushing leaves and dirt from my dress. I need to find shelter before night falls. Food, water. I need to make a plan. And then, when I'm safe, I need to figure out what's really going on. Why did the enforcers come looking for Maya at my cottage? Why did they claim Einar had agreed to give her up to the council? Why did they lie? Because they were lying. They had to be. Einar would never abandon Maya, would never leave her with me without telling me, would never agree to let the council decide her fate, unless a cold feeling spreads through my chest, unless he never meant any of the things he said to me, unless all his kind words, all his gentle looks, all his promises to return were just lies to make me cooperate while Maya was healing. No. I pushed the thought away. I know what I saw in his eyes, what I felt when he was near. That wasn't pretend. That wasn't a lie. Something else is happening here. Something I don't understand yet, but I will. And whatever it is, I won't let it separate me from Maya, from the little girl who became like family to me in just those few short weeks. I may be just an omega, just a half-shift who can't change fully into a wolf, but I'm also a healer who knows the power of every plant in this forest. I'm also a survivor who has lived alone at the edge of packlands since I was barely more than a child. I'm also someone who has been underestimated my entire life. And maybe, just maybe, that's my greatest strength of all. With new determination, I start walking deeper into the unknown forest. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'll find. But for the first time in my life, I'm not running away from something. I'm running toward it. 7 days of running, 7 nights of hiding. My feet are cut and sore from walking over rough ground. My dress is torn from pushing through thick bushes. My stomach aches with hunger because I've had little to eat but wild berries and roots I can dig up with my hands. But I keep going. I have to. The council enforcers are still looking for me. Twice I've heard them in the distance, their voices carrying through the trees as they search. Once I even caught their scent on the wind, making me hide in a hollow log until they passed by. Maya is always in my thoughts. Where is she? Is she safe? Did the council really take her from Einar? Or were the enforcers lying about everything? I've tried to head north, toward the northern territories where Einar rules. If I can just get there, maybe I can find out the truth. Maybe I can find Maya. Maybe I can see Einar one more time and ask him face to face if everything he said to me was a lie. But the forest seems endless. Without paths to follow, I get turned around easily. Sometimes I walk for hours, only to find myself back where I started, and Maya gets weaker with each passing day. Wait, that's not right. Maya isn't with me. She left with Einar a month ago, but in my tired, hungry state, I sometimes forget. Sometimes I imagine I can hear her voice calling me, feel her small hand in mine as we walk together. Today is the worst yet. Rain falls in a cold, steady stream, soaking through my clothes and making me shiver. Mud sucks at my shoes with each step, making it hard to move forward. And I'm so tired, so very tired. By midday, I can barely keep going. My legs shake beneath me, my vision blurs. Maya feels like a heavy weight in my arms, though I know she's not really there. I need to rest. Just for a little while. Just until the rain stops. I spot a large tree with roots that form a kind of cave at its base. It's not much shelter, but it's better than nothing. I crawl inside, pulling my knees to my chest to try to get warm. My wet clothes cling to my skin. My teeth chatter. But at least I'm out of the rain. I must fall asleep, because the next thing I know, it's darker. The rain has stopped, and someone is calling my name. Little healer? Where are you? The voice is high and sweet. A child's voice. Maya's voice. I shake my head, trying to clear it. I'm dreaming. Or my mind is playing tricks on me. Maya isn't here. She can't be here. But the voice comes again, closer now. Please, little healer, we can't find you. We? Who is we? Despite my exhaustion, I crawl out from under the tree roots and stand on shaky legs. The forest is misty in the fading light. Shapes loom through the fog. Trees, or rocks, or maybe animals. I can't tell. Maya? I call softly, afraid to be too loud in case the enforcers are still searching. Is that you? Here, I'm here. Her voice comes from my right, and I turn toward it. A small shape darts through the trees, moving fast. Too fast for me to see clearly. Then more shapes follow. Bigger ones, moving low to the ground. Wolves. Fear shoots through me, giving me a burst of energy. I back up, looking for somewhere to run. Somewhere to hide. But I'm too slow, too tired, too weak. The wolves break through the mist into the small clearing where I stand. They are huge, their fur black as night, their eyes glowing in the dim light. Northern wolves, the biggest, strongest wolves in all the territories. I freeze in place, knowing it's useless to run. These wolves could catch me in seconds. All I can do is stand very still and hope they don't see me as food. The wolves form a circle around me, their massive bodies blocking any escape. I count 7 of them, each the size of a small pony, their teeth gleaming white against their dark fur. This is it, I think. This is how I die. Alone in the forest, far from home, torn apart by wolves who don't even know who I am. Then the biggest wolf, the one directly in front of me, begins to change. His body shifts, fur receding, limbs lengthening, until a man stands where the wolf was. A man so tall he blocks out what little light remains in the sky. A man with shoulders as wide as my doorway at home. A man with golden eyes that shine even in the gathering darkness. Einar. I stare at him, unable to believe what I'm seeing. Am I dreaming? Am I so tired and hungry that my mind is making me see what I most want to see? I found you, he says, and his voice is real, as deep and rumbling as I remember. Relief cracks through the words, making them sound almost broken. Einar? I whisper, still not trusting my eyes. Then another shape darts past him, small and quick, and throws itself at me. Small arms wrap around my waist, a face presses into my stomach. Little healer, you're okay. Maya. Really, Maya. Warm and solid and real in my arms. I drop to my knees in the mud and hug her tight, my face pressed into her dark hair. She smells the same, like pine needles and sunshine, and her little body is just as I remember it. Thin but strong, full of energy even after running through the forest. How? I start to ask, but I can't finish the question. There are too many questions. How did they find me? How did they know I was in trouble? How are they here when the council enforcer said, the council enforcers? I look up at Einar, who has come closer, standing over us like a protective shadow. The council enforcers, I say, my voice hoarse from days of little water. They came to my cottage. They said you had agreed to give Maya to them, that you acknowledged an Omega couldn't raise her. Einar's face darkens, a growl rumbling from his chest. They lied. Just those 2 words. But they make my heart soar with relief. I knew it. I knew he wouldn't say those things, wouldn't think those things. They said you had returned to your duties but left Maya with me. I continue, the words tumbling out now. But that wasn't true either. You both left together. I watched you go. The other wolves have moved closer, still in their animal forms. One of them makes a sound that's almost like a human snort of disgust. They lied to me as well, Einar says, his voice like ice. They came to the Northern Territories not long after we returned. They said you had given Maya to them willingly, that you wanted no part of pack life or the responsibility of a child. I gasp at this. I would never, not Maya, not ever. Maya hugs me tighter. I told Uncle Einar that was a lie, she says fiercely. I told him you loved me and would never give me away. My arms tighten around her small body. She knew. Even after such a short time together, she knew how I felt about her. I should have known better, Einar says, and there's real regret in his voice. But when Maya got sick again, her wound reopened and nothing our healers did helped. I was not thinking clearly. The council offered to bring you to us, since your healing skills were better than anyone's. I agreed. But they never came to me, I say. Not until yesterday. Einar nods. When days passed and you didn't arrive, I sent my own wolves to find you. He gestures at the huge wolves surrounding us. They found your cottage empty, signs of a struggle outside, and your scent trail leading into the deep forest, mixed with the scent of council enforcers. I look around at the massive wolves with new eyes. These are Einar's personal guard, his most trusted pack members, and he sent them to find me. How did you find me? I ask. The forest is so big, and I've been running for days. A small smile touches Einar's mouth. Maya insisted on coming with us. She said she could find you better than any of us, and she was right. She followed your scent straight to you, even through the rain. I look down at Maya in surprise. You could smell me? From so far away? She nods proudly. You smell like flowers and honey, different from anyone else. I'd know your smell anywhere. Tears fill my eyes at this. All those times I thought no one noticed me, no one saw me, and this little girl could pick out my scent from miles away. More wolves emerge from the trees behind Einar. They form a line, standing at attention, their golden eyes gleaming in the fading light. Then, from behind them, 3 more figures step into the clearing. Council enforcers. The same ones who came to my cottage. I gasp and pull Maya closer, trying to shield her with my body. No! You can't take her! Einar's hand comes to rest on my shoulder. They're not here for Maya, he says, his voice low and deadly. They're here to answer for their lies. The enforcers stop a few feet away. Their faces are pale, their eyes wide with fear. They look very different from the confident men who came to my cottage, who threatened me, who tried to take me away. This Omega has kidnapped council property, the leader says. But his voice shakes. He doesn't sound at all sure of himself now. Einar's laugh is cold as winter. No, she has protected what is mine while I dealt with your treachery. He turns to me, his golden eyes blazing. They lied to me as they lied to you. Said you had given Maya willingly to them, that you wanted no part of pack life. His massive hand extends toward me. I should have known better. The council enforcers step forward, their faces desperate now. Alpha King, we are only following orders. The law is clear. An alpha child of royal blood cannot be raised by an Omega. The council has rights in these matters. New traditions begin today, Einar growls, his voice carrying through the clearing like thunder. beginning with this. What he does next takes my breath away. Here, in front of the council enforcers, in front of his own pack members, in front of Maya and me, Einar, the mighty Alpha King, feared throughout all territories, kneels. He goes down on one knee in the mud before me. His golden eyes level with mine now. Gasps echo through the trees. No Alpha kneels to an Omega. It simply isn't done. But Einar doesn't seem to care about what is done or not done. I love you, he says simply, and my heart stops at the words. Your courage, your heart, your gentle hands that heal instead of harm. I knew it when I saw you across the gathering clearing. I knew it when you saved Maya's life. I knew it when you showed me your half shift, and I saw beauty where others see only brokenness. I can't breathe, can't speak, can't move. This can't be happening. The Alpha King cannot be kneeling before me in the mud, cannot be saying these things to me. I offer you not submission, but partnership, he continues. Equality. Come north with me, with us, and be my mate, my queen, mother to Maya and any pups we might be blessed with. The council enforcers sputter objections behind him. This is against all traditions, all laws, and Omega cannot be queen of the Northern Territories. She can't even fully shift. Einar doesn't even look at them. His eyes stay on mine, patient, waiting for my answer. As if nothing else matters but what I will say. I look at Maya, her golden eyes filled with hope. She wants this, wants me to come with them, to be her family for real. I look at the council enforcers, their faces twisted with disgust and disbelief. They think this is wrong, impossible. They think I am nothing, worth nothing. I look at Einar, this mountain of a wolf, this king among alphas, kneeling in the mud before me, offering me everything I never dared to dream of. Yes, I whisper, the word barely audible. Then, finding strength I didn't know I had, I say it louder. Yes. Einar's face transforms. It's the first real smile I've ever seen from him, and it makes him look younger, lighter, almost boyish. He rises in one smooth motion and pulls me to my feet, lifting me as easily as if I weighed nothing at all. Then his lips find mine, and this time it's not a gentle brush. It's fierce and deep and full of promises. I feel it all the way to my toes, making me forget the cold, the wet, the hunger, the fear, making me forget everything but him and the way his arms feel around me. When he finally pulls back, I'm dizzy with it. Maya giggles beside us, her face bright with joy. The council enforcers are still protesting, still citing laws and traditions and the way things have always been. But Einar isn't listening. None of us are. It's time to go home, Einar says, his arm still around my waist, holding me steady. Our home. The Northern Territories, I say, trying to imagine it. Mountains reaching to the clouds, clear lakes reflecting the sky. Snow in winter, forests even bigger than this one. A palace instead of a cottage. Our home, Einar repeats firmly. Where you will be queen, where no one will ever again call you broken or worthless or defective. His golden eyes burn with a promise. Anyone who does will answer to me. The other wolves howl their approval, the sound rising to the sky where the first stars are beginning to appear. It's a sound of acceptance, of welcome. They don't care that I'm in Omega. They don't care that I can't fully shift. They follow their Alpha King, and he has chosen me. As Einar lifts me into his arms, my exhausted body finally giving in to days of running and hiding, I look over his shoulder at the council enforcers. Their faces are still shocked, still disbelieving. But there's something else there now too. Fear. Because they know their lies have been discovered. They know the Alpha King is not someone whose trust you can betray without consequences. What about them? I ask quietly as Einar carries me toward the waiting wolves. His smile is not friendly. They will find their way back to the council chambers, and they will deliver a message from me. The Northern Territories no longer recognize the Council's authority in matters of my pack, my family, my mate, my mate. The words send a shiver through me that has nothing to do with my wet clothes or the cool evening air. Maya skips alongside us, her hand holding onto my dangling fingers. "Can I call you mother now?" she asks, her voice bright with hope. Fresh tears fill my eyes at her question. "If you want to," I tell her. "I would be honored." "I want to," she says firmly. "I've wanted to since you made me better after I got hurt." As Einar carries me through the forest, surrounded by his wolves, with Maya dancing beside us, I think about how much has changed since that night of the lunar gathering. How I went from being invisible to being seen, from being alone to being loved, from being broken to being whole. All because I looked up at the wrong moment and met a pair of golden eyes across a crowded clearing. All because a wounded child needed help that only I could give. All because the Alpha King saw something in me that no one else ever had. Not weakness, but strength. Not brokenness, but uniqueness. And as the moon rises over the trees, lighting our way north to a new life, a new home, a new beginning, I make a silent promise to myself. I will be worthy of this, worthy of his love, of Maya's trust, of the position I will hold. I will show everyone who ever looked down on me that an Omega can be just as strong, just as brave, just as valuable as any Alpha, just in her own way. 2 years have passed since that night in the forest when Einar found me. 2 years since he knelt in the mud and asked me to be his mate. 2 years of a life so different from my old one that sometimes I wonder if I'm dreaming. I stand on the wide stone balcony of the Northern Palace, looking out over the valley below. Snow caps the distant mountains, glowing pink in the sunset light. Closer, the forests stretch green and endless, full of life and secrets. The air up here is clean and crisp, filling my lungs with each breath. My hand rests on my swollen belly, feeling the kicks and rolls of the pups growing inside me. Twins, the pack healer says, due when the first snow falls in the valley. Not long now. Below, in the grassy field beside the palace, Maya runs with the other pups. At 9 years old, she's tall and strong, her dark hair streaming behind her as she races through a game of tag. Last year, she made her first full shift, her wolf form sleek and fast, with a splash of white on her chest. She's the pride of the Northern Pack, and everyone knows she'll be a great leader someday. I watch her play, my heart full of love for this child, who isn't mine by blood, but is mine in all the ways that matter. She calls me mother now, has done so since that first night we arrived at the palace. And she's been the best daughter anyone could wish for, brave and kind and fierce in her love. Admiring your handiwork? Einar's deep voice comes from behind me, and then his arms circle around me, his big hands coming to rest over mine on my belly. His touch is always so gentle. Despite his size and strength, I lean back against him, feeling the solid warmth of his chest. "Our handiwork," I correct with a smile. "I didn't make all this by myself." His laugh rumbles through me, making me feel safe and loved. True enough. But the Northern Territories have never been more peaceful, more prosperous than they've been since you came. He's right, though I'd never say so out loud. The healing knowledge I brought with me has made the pack stronger. Sicknesses that once killed many pups now have cures. Wounds that would have left wolves crippled now heal clean and strong. And I've taught others, Omegas like me, who were once pushed aside, ignored, made to feel they had nothing to offer. Now, the Northern Territories are known throughout the wolf world for our healing arts. Wolves from other packs come to learn from us, to trade for our medicines, to seek help for illnesses their own healers can't cure. The Southern delegation arrives tomorrow, Einar reminds me, his chin resting on top of my head. They're nervous about meeting the Omega Queen who commands herbs and hearts with equal skill. I smile at his words. Omega Queen, a title that had never existed before me, a role I created simply by being who I am. Let them be nervous, I say, turning in his arms to face him. His golden eyes are still the same, bright and fierce and all-seeing, but the face around them has changed in these 2 years. The hard lines have softened. He smiles now, often. He laughs. He plays with Maya and the other pups. Times change. Indeed they do, he agrees, then drops to his knees as he does each night. His face level with my round belly, he presses his lips against the taut skin. For the better. The pups kick against his mouth as if they know their father is there, as if they can't wait to meet him. After dinner, when Maya is tucked into bed with stories of her mother's adventures, Einar makes sure she knows all about his brave sister. We retire to our chambers. The huge bed is piled high with furs to keep out the mountain chill. A fire burns in the stone hearth, making shadows dance on the walls. I watch this enormous, feared Alpha King as he sleeps peacefully beside me. His hand never leaves mine, even in dreams, as if he's afraid I might disappear if he lets go. I think about how far I've come from that lonely cottage at the edge of the Packlands, how different my life is now, how different I am. The Omega healers I've gathered from all territories now train here in the palace, valued for their gifts, rather than scorned for their differences. No child in the Northern Pack grows up believing they are broken or worthless. No one is judged by what they can't do, only by what they can. My hand drifts to my belly again. These pups growing inside me will never know what it feels like to be pushed aside, to be called defective, to be told they are less than others. They will grow up knowing they are loved exactly as they are, that their worth isn't in how well they can shift or how strong they can fight, but in how kindly they treat others, how bravely they face challenges, how truly they love. I still can't fully shift. My hands still stop halfway between human and wolf. My teeth still only partly sharpen. My senses still don't reach the full power of a true wolf. But now I know the truth that took me so long to learn. I was never broken, just different, just waiting to be completed by those who could see beyond appearances, a scarred king, an orphaned pup, and the courage to believe I deserved them both. In the end, it wasn't my weakness that saved us, but my difference. The very thing that had kept me apart became the strength that brought us together. My healing hands, my seeing heart, my willingness to help when help was needed, without fear or judgment. And in that transformation, from outcast to queen, from broken to whole, from alone to loved, we all became more than we were before. Einar found his voice and his smile. Maya found her mother and her home. And I found the truth that had been waiting for me all along. That sometimes, the things that make us different are the very things that make us whole. As moonlight bathes our chamber, turning Einar's black hair silver at the temples, I rest my head against his chest and listen to the strong, steady beat of his heart. Our pups move inside me, gentle waves of life and promise. Outside our window, the northern territories spread vast and beautiful under the stars. This is home. This is family. This is where I was always meant to be, though I never dared to dream it. And as sleep takes me, one last thought drifts through my mind. The words Einar whispered to me on our mating day, words I hold close in my heart through all the days and nights that follow. You were never the broken one. It was the world that needed mending. And you, my love, with your gentle hands and your brave heart, were the only one who could fix it.